When the USS Abraham Lincoln accelerated west toward the Persian Gulf, analysts around the world focused on what she was going to confront. But the real question wasn't where she was headed, it was what she left behind. Because when our 100,000-ton nuclear supercarrier exits the Pacific, something dangerous appears on the map. A gap, a silence, a space that rivals are trained to exploit. From satellite feeds and war rooms across Asia, the same conclusion began circulating. The ultimate deterrent was gone. The South China Sea looked exposed. The Pacific looked lighter. That conclusion is wrong. The US Navy didn't abandon the Pacific. It changed the rules of the fight. Filling that apparent void is a ship many mistake for a downgrade, USS Tripoli. Smaller. Non-dash nuclear, no catapults. And yet, this vessel represents something far more unsettling than a supercarrier. This isn't withdrawal, it's transformation. To understand why the Pentagon made the decision to pull Abraham Lincoln from the Pacific, politics don't help, physics does. In the Middle East, conditions crossed a critical threshold. Missile forces were activating. Shipping lanes through the Strait of Hormuz faced credible disruption. Targets deep inland suddenly mattered. That kind of strike profile demands reach, and only one aircraft in the region could provide it, the F-35C. Long wings, massive fuel capacity, a combat radius exceeding 600 nautical miles. The Lincoln wasn't simply nearby. She was purpose-built for that mission, so the order came down. The carrier turned west. But that decision exposed a second reality planners rarely admit publicly. In the Pacific's confined waters, a supercarrier is no longer just power, it's a bullseye. For 2 decades, near-peer rivals have engineered weapons for one purpose: killing carriers. Hypersonic missiles are anti-ship ballistic systems. Kill zones extending thousands of kilometers from shore. Keeping a floating city of steel inside the envelope isn't courage. It's liability management, so when Lincoln left, she wasn't retreating. She was stepping out of the scope. Enter the USS Tripoli. On paper, she looks inadequate. She's an amphibious assault ship, slower, smaller, carrying the F-35B. The short takeoff variant with shorter legs and lighter payloads, so why trust her with the Pacific? Because the Navy wasn't replacing a carrier, it was replacing a concept. Tripoli is not a fortress. She's a launcher for dispersion. Her true power comes from an engineering gamble few noticed at first. Unlike traditional amphibious ships, Tripoli has no well deck, no hovercraft, no swimming armor. That space wasn't removed by accident, it was converted. By deleting the well deck, engineers doubled aviation fuel capacity. The ship stopped being a troop carrier and became a sustained flight platform. But fuel alone isn't enough. The F-35B brings a brutal challenge. Vertical landings generate exhaust temperatures above 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. Standard flight decks fail catastrophically under that stress. So Tripoli received something different, a metallic thermal spray deck coating. Not paint, a bonded alloy layer that spreads heat instead of trapping it. The result is simple but decisive. Tripoli can launch, recover, and relaunch stealth jets longer than opponents expect, and longer than they can tolerate. Still, physics demands trade-offs. The F-35C aboard Lincoln carries massive internal weapons, including 2,000-pound bunker busters designed to punch through reinforced command centers. The F-35B cannot. Its vertical lift fan consumes internal space, shrinking both fuel volume and weapons bay length. Certain munitions physically do not fit. No software patch can fix geometry. On paper, this looks like weakness. In practice, it's freedom. The F-35B doesn't need pristine runways or massive decks. It can operate from highways, from remote islands, from scorched airstrips no enemy expects to matter. A supercarrier declares presence. Tripoli enables ubiquity. Dispersion only works if you can move heavy weapons without roads, ports, or runways. That's where the most misunderstood asset enters the fight, the CH-53K King Stallion. At nearly $148 million per aircraft, critics see excess. Engineers see necessity. Powered by 3 massive engines producing over 22,000 horsepower combined, the King Stallion lifts payloads once thought impossible, even in total darkness, even at Tirana. Its development nearly collapsed under its own complexity. Rotor wash forced exhaust back into engines. Systems overheated. Airflow had to be reinvented. The payoff. It can deploy naval strike missile platforms onto isolated terrain, transforming empty land into instant denial zones. Missiles appear, ships vanish. Launch points disappear before retaliation arrives. The Pacific becomes hostile without revealing where the danger lives. But Tripoli has a weakness. She lacks long-range airborne radar. Without carrier-borne early warning aircraft, the horizon becomes a wall so she doesn't fight alone. Destroyers escort her, linked digitally, not visually. F-35Bs push forward in passive mode, emitting nothing, listening to everything. Data passes silently through relay nodes. Fire control solutions appear where radar sees nothing. Missiles launch from ships that never detected a target themselves. Enemy sensors wait for warning that never comes. This isn't firepower, it's orchestration. So when observers saw Abraham Lincoln leave the Pacific, many assumed weakness. What they missed was substitution. A visible symbol of dominance was exchanged for an invisible web of lethality. A single massive target was replaced by dozens of mobile threats. This isn't the end of the supercarrier. It's the end of the idea that size alone guarantees control. Modern warfare rewards invisibility, mobility, and math. Steel no longer intimidates. Die to those. And the Pacific isn't empty. It's quiet because something is hunting